Hi everyone, this is John Zabel, owner of the School of Rock in Libertyville. And if you're seeing this, you're an employee of mine, and I am going through the State of Illinois Sexual Harassment Prevention Training, which is required. This is downloaded from the government at illinois.gov, DHR training, and there is a helpline for you to take note of if you need help in this regard. It's 877-236-7703. There's also www.illinois.gov/sexual harassment are resources for you in regard to sexual harassment, which of course we have no patience for at the School of Rock Libertyville. I'm going to run through this, and please pay attention. We will have you sign a form that tells us that you have completed this and put it on file. That is the prevention training form that you can get from the front desk. Sexual harassment is prohibited in Illinois. The Illinois Human Rights Act makes it a civil rights violation for any employer, employee, agent, or employer, employment agency, or labor organization to engage in sexual harassment. The Illinois General Assembly finds that tolerance of sexual harassment has a detrimental influence in workplace by creating a hostile environment for employees, reducing productivity, and increasing legal liability. The state of Illinois also encourages employers to adopt and actively implement policies to ensure their workplaces are safe for employees, to report concerns about sexual harassment without fear of retaliation, loss of status, or loss of promotional opportunities. The School of Rock Libertyville, we have no tolerance for sexual harassment, and we would encourage you to report it to us, and we will take appropriate actions. We're required to provide this prevention training by the state of Illinois, and it needs to comply with the Illinois Human Rights Act. That's what we're doing right now. All employees, regardless of their stature, have to be trained. So if you're part-time, full-time, intern, doesn't matter. If an employer has an independent contractor working on site, we also need to go through this with them. Those are just the requirements. What information is going to be covered in this? We're going to explain sexual harassment as it is explained by the Illinois Human Rights Act. We're going to provide examples of conduct that may constitute unlawful sexual harassment. We'll provide a summary of the federal, state, and state statutory laws regarding sexual harassment, including remedies available to victims, and a summary of employer responsibilities in the prevention, investigation, corrective measures of sexual harassment. What is sexual harassment? Under the Illinois Human Rights Act, sexual harassment means any unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favor, or any conduct of a sexual nature, when submission to such conduct is made either explicitly or implicitly a term of condition of employment, submission to or rejection of such conduct by an individual is used as a basis for employment decisions affecting the individual, and such a conduct has the purpose or effect of substantially interfering with an individual's work performance, creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment. There are a number of types of unlawful sexual harassment. One is called quid pro quo sexual harassment. You do something for me, and I'll do something for you. This means that a manager or supervisor may tell an employee that in order to have a promotion, a raise, or preferred treatment, or anything in the job, to avoid something negative like discipline or an unpleasant assignment, the employee must do something sexual in return. Hostile work environment sexual harassment is the air at work is full of sexual references and it is impacting me. That's a way to look at it. Hostile work environment may occur when unwelcome sexual advancements, requests for sexual favors, conduct of a sexual nature that has the purpose or effect of substantially interfering with an individual's work performance or creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive working environment. Unwelcome behavior. Sexual is a category. Sexual conduct becomes sexual harassment when the behavior is unwelcome. Behavior may be unwelcome in the sense that the victim did not solicit or invited or in the sense that the victim regarded the conduct as undesirable or offensive. Welcome behavior can quickly become unwelcome behavior, and that's a watch out. What starts off as a welcome behavior, consensual joking, can cross a line and become unwelcome behavior. We need to stop that. Also, consent can be revoked at any time. So when someone experiences sexual harassment behavior, stop talking to me like this. It must stop. The perpetrator cannot use this as a defense. Well, you started it, or you were okay with it. No, that does not fly. Working environment is an employee's working environment is defined by the law too, and it's not limited to the physical location of the School of Rock. The working environment extends to other work sites, like if we're at a gig or offsite, mobile, or moving worksite locations. For example, a working environment includes a courthouse for lawyers or an offsite event for a caterer. Gender identity and sexual orientation are another category that the state wants us to be clear about. A person can be a victim of sexual harassment regardless of their gender identity or the perpetrator's gender identity. A person can be the victim of sexual harassment regardless of the victim's sexual orientation or the perpetrator's sexual orientation. It doesn't matter. The next category the state talks about here is employees and non-employees as victims of sexual harassment. The Human Rights Act protects employees and now non-employees from sexual harassment. In other words, employees could be a coworker, a supervisor, or manager, but non-employees can be people who are not employed there, but are directly performing services for the employer, such as contractors or consultants. Victims can include employees and non-employees when sexually harassed by an other employee or other non-employees. See how it gets to be, there's no tolerance here. We don't want it anywhere near us. Victims of sexual harassment can include not only target of sexual harassment, but also those employees and non-employees who are bystanders or witnesses to it. So this is why this is not a tolerable thing. It extends to a lot of people. Customers, patrons can also be victims of sexual harassment. The Illinois Human Rights Act protects customers and patrons from sexual harassment in places of public accommodation like stores, hotels, restaurants, theaters, museums, health clubs, and hospitals, and music schools. Employees that are also places of accommodation are responsible for sexual harassment of customers, patrons, when perpetrated by their employees and non-employees. You get the idea. Can't have it at our gigs. We can't have it anywhere. Employees and non-employees are as perpetrators of sexual harassment as defined by the state as well. The Human Rights Act prohibits employees and non-employers from engaging in sexual harassment. Employees we have defined as co-work supervisors, non-employees as those who are maybe part of the scene but are not us. Employers are responsible for sexual harassment for their employees and non-employees against other employees and non-employees, and you can understand why. The Human Rights Act prohibits sexual harassment of employees and non-employees by customers and third parties. So employers are responsible for sexual harassment of their employers and non-employees by customers and patrons too. Employees are also responsible for sexual harassment of their employees and non-employees by third parties, such as sales representatives, vendors, or delivery persons. Hence, we can't have the sexual environment at the School of Rock Libertyville in any way, shape, or form. Why? Because it will create an environment where a third party comes in and is comfortable to harass our employees. We're not going to have any of that. An explanation of here's the next section. An explanation of the sexual harassment is consistent with the Illinois Human Rights Act. And now we're going to be talking about examples of conduct that are bad. What are examples of inappropriate conduct? Sexual harassment includes conduct of a sexual nature, sexual advances, and requests for sexual favors. That examples are pressure for sexual favors or to go out on a date, deliberate touching, leaning over, or cornering another person, sexual looks or gestures or whistles at someone. Can't imagine this. Sending letters, telephone calls, emails, texts, or other materials of a sexual nature, sexual teasing, jokes, remarks, questions, referring to other people as a girl or a hunk or a doll or a babe or a honey or a tootsie in a sexual manner, actual or attempted rape, and obviously sexual assault. Not going to happen on my watch. Other examples are a little bit more nuanced, like turning work discussions to sexual topics, or asking about sexual fantasies or preferences or history. Sexual comments, sexual innuendo, or sexual stories. Just don't have them. Sexual comments about a person's clothing, body, or looks. Kissing sounds, howling, smacking of lips. See how it gets into deep things here, and it's just better to avoid. Telling lies or spreading rumors about somebody's sex life. Massaging a neck or shoulder. Touching other employees, such as their clothing, hair, or their body. Just can't see it. Our conduct is not limited either to, it could be through social media and can constitute sexual harassment even when it's off the clock, off site, or even out of state. Online sexual harassment includes using emails, cell phones, texts, internet postings, online comments, blog posts, etc. to send communication to a sexual nature. Examples include flirting, request demands for a date, having sex, sending inappropriate pictures or videos of graphic nature, using sexual language or comments, including sexually offensive language, or cyberstalking. Horrible. Next, we're going to talk about a summary of the federal and state statutory laws concerning sexual harassment, including remedies available to the victims. Those include, so what do I do if I experience, witness, or become aware of unwelcome sexual conduct? Well, if you experience, witness, or become aware of it, you have the right to tell the person to stop. Initiating and participating persons must stop an unwelcome behavior immediately upon request. If they continue the behavior or retaliate against you because you ask them to stop, they can be found to have violated the law by engaging in sexual harassment or retaliation. You have the right to report the sexual harassment as well. Several reporting options are available, and the options you choose may depend on the nature and severity of the unwelcome sexual attack or sexual assault. Too strong a word, but the conduct that isn't of a sexual nature. Persons who report sexual harassment or participate in investigation are protected from retaliation. The reporting, the choice of how to report the allegation of sexual harassment is a personal one, and these options are not mutually exclusive. You may pursue one or more of the following. You can call the State of Illinois Sexual Harassment Discrimination Hotline. That is 1-877-236-7703, or you could visit www.illinois.gov/sexual harassment website. There are people and forms there that will help you with reporting of such a thing. You can report the incident to your employer is a second choice. First would be your supervisor. Another would be your human resources person or a designated sexual harassment reporting officer within the company. Of course, bring it to me. Bring it to Laurel. Bring it to whoever you want who can get to me, because I can actually do something about it. We're a small company, and we can fix it, because we do not have any tolerance for such a thing. There's no need for it. You can file a charge with the Illinois Department of Human Rights. The Illinois Department of Human Rights, it's also known as the IDHR. It's a state agency responsible for enforcing the law, which makes it illegal to engage in sexual harassment and retaliation. Complaints may file at any time, within 300 days of the incident, so it's nearly a year. IDHR has a jurisdiction to investigate employers who have as little as one complaint. And to start the process, you would submit a complaint information sheet to the IDHR. After the IDHR completes its investigation, the complainant, which is the employee, may file a lawsuit, may file a complaint with the Illinois Human Rights Commission if there's substantial evidence. The complaints who prevail in the HRC, which is the Human Rights Court, Human Rights Commission or court may receive an order awarding remedies allowed by the Illinois Human Rights Act to make the complainant whole. Remedies may include back pay, lost benefits, clearing of personal damages, hiring, promotion, reinstatement, front pay where reinstatement is not possible, attorney's fees and costs. The reporting, to file a charge with the IDHR, that is a different place. That is 800-662-3942, and it is www.illinois.gov/DHR. There are offices in Chicago, Springfield, and Marion, Illinois. Chicago offices on Monroe Street on the 7th floor in Chicago. To file a charge with the EEOC, that is also an option. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is responsible for enforcing Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the federal law that makes it illegal to engage in sexual harassment or retaliation. Complainants have almost a year to file it. There's a EEOC has jurisdiction to investigate who have more employees than we have, but we're right there, so they would investigate us most likely. And to start the process, you would call the EEOC or visit their website. After the EEOC completes its investigation, the complainant, the employee, may file a lawsuit in a federal lawsuit. The EEOC may help parties reach a settlement through a formal process called conciliation. If the EEOC finds reasonable cause to believe discrimination occurred, and complainants who prevail in a federal court may receive an order awarding remedies allowed by Title VII to make employees whole. The remedies again may include back pay, lost benefits, clearing of a personnel file, damages, hiring, promotion, reinstatement, front pay where reinstatement is not possible, punitive damages, and attorney's fees and costs. The number for that, the EEOC, is 800-669-4009, and the website is www.eeoc.gov. There is an office in Chicago, which is at the JCK Federal Building on Dearborn. Summary of the employer's responsibility in the prevention and investigation and corrective measures. And keep an eye on this. If we don't follow these, please. Yes, the employer's responsible for it in two ways. Managing and supervising harassment. Employers are strictly liable for sexual harassment perpetrated by members of management, regardless of whether the employee knew of the harassment. Co-workers or non-employee harassment. The employer is liable for the sexual harassment perpetrated by an employee or non-employees only if the employer knew and reasonably should have known of the harassment and failed to take proper action. The employer's responsibilities are to this simple, and we are going to do everything here to prevent the incidents of sexual harassment in their workplace, investigate the incidents that may occur, and correct the incidents of sexual harassment in the workplace. Prevention means we have to communicate to you this policy and be very stern about its enforcement. We need to provide the training, which we are doing right now, regarding this policy. We need to ensure there's clear avenues to report it. Those are established here in this meeting. Managers and supervisors should monitor their work environment to ensure the workplace is free of sexual harassment. Supervisors should be aware of the conduct of their of the conduct within their supervision. That's for sure. Managers and supervisors must lead by example. Refrain by engaging in any of that. Managers and supervisors should conduct a sexual harassment climate check throughout the year. Every once in a while, we should ask you how you're doing, and we will. The investigation goes like this. We should really look into it immediately, not days, weeks from now, we need to go. We need to invest. We need to interview the complainant and take reasonable action to protect the victim from retaliation or experience further sexual harassment. We also need to interview all relevant witnesses, interview all perpetrators, and document the investigation results, and keep the file as an employment record. If it have to, we need to take corrective actions. Corrective measures may include these. Disciplinary action, including termination of employment where the organization policy has been violated. On situations where the conduct in question did not rise to the level of sexual harassment or violation of the policy, but is concerning and may consider grooming behavior, consider counseling, training, or closer supervision. You also might want to take responsible action within the organization to reduce the likelihood of further sexual harassment by updating policies and so on. This is important. As everyone knows, this training is a part of what we're doing to make sure we don't have it. And follow up with any complaint at regular intervals to ensure that they are perfectly safe within the environment. We have printed out some of these. We can print out more. This is the form that asks you just to sign it and tell you when you had it, the training. And it is going to be over this video. If you have any questions arise from this video or concerns, contact me immediately, or whenever you would like, because we'll address your any confusion here. And if you'd like a copy of this, we can get you a copy of this. And your safety and the safety of the employees at the School of Rock Libertyville is a very high it's number one priority of the school, is we have a safe environment. Thank you and have a great day. Look forward to hearing you. I'm at 847-497-0219.